I first sensed something was wrong when her laughter shifted. It wasn't the laugh I had fallen for, the soft, unguarded sound that used to fill our tiny apartment with warmth. No, this one was lighter, rehearsed, the kind people use when they want attention. And the man paying that attention wasn't me anymore. It was Daniel, her best friend. "Come on, Alex," she said one evening, rolling her eyes when I asked if Daniel really had to visit again. "You're being ridiculous. He's been my friend since college. Don't tell me you're jealous." I hesitated. Maybe I was jealous, but not without reason. Daniel had a way of standing too close, of saying her name like it carried something more. And the worst part? She let it happen. I tried to convince myself it was harmless. She would never betray me. Maybe I was just tired, overthinking after long shifts at the hospital. But jealousy has a way of whispering what your heart already knows and your mind refuses to admit. The first time it became undeniable was at dinner. Daniel was across from her, telling some story about his promotion. Her hand brushed his arm. Quick, yet intimate. Too intimate. My fork froze midair. Her eyes flicked to me, then away. She laughed that new laugh again. And something inside me broke, not anger, but a quiet, gut-deep ache. The realization that I might already be losing the person I loved most. Later that night, I tried to talk. "Emma," I started softly, "I just feel something's off between us lately." She didn't look up from her phone. "Off? Like what?" "Like you spend more time with Daniel than with me." Her sigh cut sharply through the air. "God, Alex, you're not serious." "He's my friend. You need to stop being so paranoid." "I'm not paranoid," I said quietly. She cut me off with a bitter laugh. "You sound pathetic, you know that? Jealous of a friend. It's embarrassing." Embarrassing. The word hit harder than I expected. I couldn't sleep that night. The next day, I came home early. Rain fell in heavy sheets, a cold, relentless kind that made the world feel smaller. I'd planned a simple surprise. Dinner, something normal to bridge the silence between us. Her car was outside, lights on, music playing. I opened the door and froze. Voices, hers and his, echoed through the house. I stood in the hallway, the bag of takeout growing heavier in my hand. At first, I told myself it was just a conversation. But then I heard her whisper, soft and low, "Stop. Alex might come home soon." I didn't need to hear more. I dropped the bag. Plastic hit the floor. Food spilled across the tiles. A door creaked. Silence followed. She emerged first, hair messy, face pale. "Alex." I passed her, stepping into the living room. Daniel stood there, guilt written across his face like a permanent shadow. No words were exchanged. None were needed. The silence said it all. He grabbed his jacket and left without meeting my eyes. Emma reached for me. "It's not what it looks like." I turned to her and, for the first time in years, didn't recognize the woman before me. "I hope for your sake," I said quietly, "that it isn't." Then I left. That night, I drove without direction. City lights blurred past, rain streaking the windshield. I stopped at the old pier we used to visit when we first started dating. Back then, she'd hold my hand and tell me I was the safest place in her world. Now, I felt like a stranger in her story. I sat there until dawn, chasing a version of reality where what I'd seen didn't mean what it clearly did. But the truth doesn't bend for love. It waits for you to stop lying to yourself. When I returned home, she was still there. The house smelled of stale wine and apologies. "I made a mistake," she said, voice trembling. "It didn't mean anything." "Please, Alex, I don't..." My voice surprised even me. "Don't turn this into something words can fix." "I love you," she cried. I looked at her, really looked at her. "Do you? Or do you just hate the thought of me walking away?" She didn't answer. I went upstairs, packed a bag, and left. For 3 days, she called and texted. I didn't respond. I couldn't. Each buzz of my phone made me imagine her voice, the one that used to soothe me, trying to pull me back into a world that no longer felt like home. On the 4th day, she appeared at the hospital. I was in the break room when she walked in, eyes red from crying. "Please, Alex, I can't lose you." I understood. You already did. Her tears fell harder. It wasn't supposed to happen. I was lonely. You were always working, always tired. Daniel was there. I nodded slowly. So it was my fault? No, that's not what I mean. But that's what you're saying. I whispered. You were lonely. So you found someone else to fill the space I left. You made me the villain so you could justify betraying me. She collapsed into a chair, sobbing. I don't even know why it happened. I swear it didn't mean anything. That's the thing, Emma. I said quietly. It meant everything. A week later, I left the house keys on the counter with a note. You don't need to worry about me anymore. I'll be gone before you wake up. I hope one day you find peace with what you did. She called that morning, one last time. I didn't pick up. Then I drove until the city faded, until the sky turned new. Silence became a language of its own. I once thought love meant forgiveness, holding on through every storm. But sometimes love dies quietly, in acceptance that it's no longer real. I never hated her. That would have been easier. Instead, I pitied her. Pity is colder than anger. It's the knowledge that the person who once held your heart now holds nothing of you at all. Months passed. I transferred to a smaller coastal hospital. Life slowed. I began painting again, something I hadn't done since before we married. I found comfort in small things. The sound of waves, the smell of coffee, the absence of her ghost in every room. Sometimes, though, I still hear that laugh, the one that used to be mine. And for a moment, it hurts. Not because I want her back, but because I once believed she could never hurt me. 2 years later, a letter arrived. Her handwriting. Alex, I don't expect forgiveness. I just want you to know I still think of you. I know I broke something I can never fix. I'm sorry I mocked your jealousy. You were right. You saw what I refused to admit. I wish I'd listened before it was too late. I folded the letter and tucked it in a drawer, leaving the rest unread. Closure doesn't always come in answers. It comes when you stop needing them. That evening, I walked the beach. The horizon glowed orange and the waves whispered softly. I thought of her one last time. Her smile, her betrayal, her tears, and let the tide take it all. Love doesn't end when they leave. It ends when you stop waiting for them to return. That night, for the first time since I walked out, I stopped waiting.